Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a video where I share with you some of my most recent books that I've been loving, that I'm obsessed with. So let's get right into it. I have a stack of about 6 books, ranging from a variety of different genres. So the first one is It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. This is a historical romance, and this is a part of the Bridgerton series. Now, I think you should read the Bridgerton series in order, but you don't have to. And I just loved this book. I love Gareth and Hyacinth. I think they are amazing. And so Hyacinth has been hanging out with Lady Danbury. And if you don't know who that is, Lady Danbury is this older, high aristocrat woman in high society England, and she's kind of been her chaperone, Hyacinth's chaperone, for years, and they become really close friends. And Hyacinth will like read to her on Tuesdays, and they just spend a lot of time together. And Gareth is Lady Danbury's grandson, and he has this kind of secret where his father is very mean to him, and he doesn't want society to know that, and he's kind of distanced himself away from his father. And so Lady Danbury has been trying to get Gareth and Hyacinth together for years. Hyacinth has never married, and she's just like, we need to get you guys together. But then Gareth comes to Hyacinth with kind of a little mystery thing. He found this diary from his grandmother that's in Italian, and she's like, well, I can translate that for you. And so they work together to translate his grandmother's diary, not Lady Danbury, his paternal grandmother. And it's very interesting because there's lots of family secrets in the diary. And they find that there might be this like hidden treasure that they have to go find, and it's really, really fun. I thought this book was so much fun. I loved Gareth's character. He was like, well, I'm going to seduce Hyacinth so I can get back at my father, and then it doesn't go to plan because he actually ends up falling in love with Hyacinth. And I love their banter together. They're both so funny, and I love how mischievous Hyacinth is. She's just such a fun heroine. And I really loved Gareth's character and how he kind of realized, well, I don't want to hurt Hyacinth. I just want to be with her for her, and I really love that. This book was fantastic. And then I read Fractured Sky, which is the 5th book and final book in the Tattered and Torn series. So this is about Ramsay and Shiloh. So Shiloh was kidnapped when she was younger, and she was the girl who was kidnapped in the first book. And there's been a lot of trauma and emotional damage from her being kidnapped, not just for her, but for her family and friends. And so her family has kind of always, since that incident happened, just watched her really closely, kind of made her feel a little trapped. And so she decides, she's been living on her family's like farm for years, and she's like, well, I want to venture out and live on my own. So she decides to live with Ramsay, who actually has a guest house. And the deal with Ramsay is that she has been visiting his horse farm for like 9 years, just going to it, watching him do, he is a horse whisperer, so watching him do his horse whispering things and working with horses, and it's just so beautiful. And she ends up staying there, and then she finds out that there is this person sending her these creepy notes, and it gets a little suspensey, and I really, really loved it. I love horses. Are my favorite animal. I just think they are so majestic and beautiful, and I've loved horses since I was a little girl, so I really, really connected with this book on that front. I just love horses, and learning about them more and more really intrigues me, and you got a lot of information in this book, not just about horses, but just about how they connect with people, and I just really loved that. And this is a friends to lovers slow burn romance, and he is older. He's also kind of the black sheep of town, like he was sent to jail for something he didn't do, and people really are just like, well, if you know, your reputation precedes you, but it's not really him. And he's very protective over his land and very protective over Shiloh, and I just love him. And then the next one I want to share with you is Carnal Urges by J.T. Geisinger. I think I read this in September maybe, but I absolutely adored it. This was such a fun read. It is a mafia romance, and so our heroine gets kidnapped because she basically kind of started a war, and between two mafias. I don't know what the other mafia was. It was Irish, and I don't remember the other one, but she gets kidnapped by the rival one. Oh, it's Russian. It's Russian mafia. So she gets kidnapped by the Irish mafia, and her best friend is like married to like the head of the Russian mafia, and the guy that kidnapped her is like, "You're gonna be so scared of me," all this stuff, and she just like laughs it off. She's like, "I don't care if you kidnapped me. I'm way tougher than you think I am," and it is absolutely hilarious. It is so funny. She just thinks it's a big joke. Like, she's like, "I don't care that you kidnapped me. Like, why should I care about this?" And it's so funny, and their banter is so good. The hero is just like, "Why isn't she?" No. Goalie, come here. The hero is like, "Why isn't she scared?" And she's like, she basically doesn't give a anything. She doesn't care, and it's so good, and I really, really love this. And just seeing them together, and he is so possessive over her, and it's just such a fun book. You would never imagine a mafia having like some type of humor, but it does. It's not just dark humor. It's just like really laugh out loud humor, and I loved that. The next book is called Olivia and the Masked Duke by Grace Calloway. I'm actually read this for a reading vlog that's going to come out, I think, before this. And I absolutely love this book. It was so freaking good. It is a historical romance. And our heroine has been pining after our hero for years. He saved her when she was like falling from a tree, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And so she's had this crush on him for years. And they have an age gap. And he was married before, and one night she decides to kiss him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, why would you do that? Like, I have no feelings for you." Basically breaking her heart, and she is devastated. And so she decides to stay in London. She was going to go back to Scotland with her family, but she gets this like proposition from this woman who is kind of like a Charlie's Angel-esque person, and she is like, "Well, if you want to help solve like crimes and do detective work, you can help me." And she's like, "Okay, like, I don't want my parents to find out." And she's like, "Well, I'll be your chaperone." And so it's a group of girls, and they're all doing like these different cases in England and like helping other women, and it's really, really fun. But she cannot tell the hero, and he is supposed to be looking after her while she's in London. And it's so good. And she has to like keep this secret from him, and he absolutely hates secrets. And because that happened with his past relationship, and he is just so like mad at her, and it's so angsty and amazing. I just absolutely love this book. The next one is called Forbidden by Carla Sorensen. This one is so good. I listened to it on audio, highly recommend. And so our hero, a couple years back, he lost his wife, and that's been really hard on him and his daughter. And so he decides to move to a small town. I don't know where. It's on the West Coast though, like kind of by California, where he can kind of regroup and figure out his life again. And so he is actually like a fighter. I don't know what type of fighter he is. I can't remember. But he was like a famous fighter. I can't remember if he was a boxer or something like that. But he was a fighter, and he decides to buy this gym, and our heroine is the manager of the gym, and she's always like idolized him and loved him from afar. And so when she realizes that he is her boss, she like freaks out, and she is like mean to him because she's like, "I don't want to feel anything for you, so I'm going to be mean to you." And it's so good. It's a single dad, kind of angsty a little bit because she's like, "I don't want to be with you. We can't be together. You're my boss." And I absolutely loved it. It was so freaking good. I loved her relationship with his daughter. It was so adorable, and I cannot wait to read like the first book of this series. This is the fourth one, and just like dive into the series because I really enjoyed this fourth book. And then the last book is Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is a single dad nanny romance. And so our heroine is in town with her best friend, and the hero is a single dad, and he's like the main like ranch hand on their ranch, and he's like, well, I need a new nanny. And so her best friend recommends her as his new nanny, and he had a really weird meet cute with her. Like, it was very awkward and really, really funny. And so he sees her again, he's like, absolutely no. And then he kind of agrees to it. And then she starts working for him and taking care of his son. She starts working for him and taking care of his son, and their relationship, the son and her, is just absolutely adorable. I love it so much. They are just so cute. They're like best friends, and it's adorable. And he's slowly like kind of falling in love with her, but he's like, I can't fall in love with her. She's too young for me. Like, we can never be compatible. All this stuff, and it's just so funny. This book made me laugh out loud. It's total grump and sunshine, and I just loved it so much. And I loved Willa, and there was tons of spice in here. Cade is definitely a dirty talker, and it's very good. And it was just such a fun read. I really enjoyed it. It was just such a great book. But that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really loved all of these books, and I can't wait to find some more favorites. I'm reading one right now that I think is going to be a new favorite. It's a historical romance, and I'm just so, like giddy while reading it. I just love it. But down below, let me know what your favorite books are, what favorite books you're reading right now or you've read that you would recommend to me. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon.